The Young and the Restless. Noah Newman's heartbreaking accident. Full episode explained. Hey everyone, welcome back to The Young and the Restless world. Today's episode is one of the most emotional, heartbreaking stories we've seen in a long time. When Noah Newman's health suddenly takes a devastating turn, his mother Sharon is left broken, and his father Nick is forced to confront both pain and suspicion. What really happened that night? Was it an accident or something far darker? Let's dive into the full story. Scene 1. Sharon's heartbreak. The hospital lights flickered softly as Sharon Newman stood outside the emergency room, her hands trembling, her eyes swollen from tears. Inside, her beloved son Noah lay motionless, still in a coma, showing no sign of waking up. Every second felt like an eternity. Every beep of the monitor was a reminder that her child's life was hanging by a thread. Sharon tried to be strong, but when she looked through the glass window and saw her son lying still, surrounded by wires and machines, her heart shattered completely. She whispered softly, "Please, Noah, just wake up." For a mother who had fought so many battles for her child, this moment was unbearable. Her mind was filled with prayers, her heart with fear. She knew that if Noah didn't open his eyes soon, she would lose the most precious part of her soul. Moments later, Nick Newman burst through the hospital doors. He had just received the news and he could barely breathe. Nick and Sharon had been through a lifetime of ups and downs. They had loved, fought, separated, and somehow always found their way back to each other in life's hardest moments. But this was different. This was about their son. As Nick saw Sharon sitting helplessly in the corridor, his eyes filled with tears. Without thinking, he ran to her side. Sharon looked up, her face pale and streaked with tears. For a few seconds, neither spoke. Then she broke down, collapsing into his arms like a child seeking comfort. In that instant, all the walls between them fell away. They were no longer two broken people. They were parents, united in pain. Scene 3. Suspicion rises. Nick refused to believe this was just an accident. Something about the story didn't make sense. Why was Noah driving alone that late at night? And why had the car been found near the canyon, an area Noah never went to? As the doctors fought to stabilize Noah, Nick demanded that the police open an investigation. He asked them to check the nearby cameras, to look for any vehicles that might have been near the scene. Hours later, one piece of evidence changed everything. A camera captured an unfamiliar car parked just minutes before the crash. Then it sped away right after the impact. Nick's heart sank. This wasn't random. Someone had done this deliberately. Scene 4. The mother's fear. While Nick chased the truth, Sharon was fighting her own battle, one of fear and guilt. She sat beside Noah's bed, her hand clutching his cold fingers. Tears rolled down as she whispered, "You're strong, baby. You always have been. Please fight your way back to me." But deep down, a darker thought haunted her. What if Noah hadn't just been the victim of bad luck? What if someone wanted to hurt him? Lately, Noah had been acting strange, restless, distracted. He'd been spending long nights at the nightclub, avoiding questions, pretending everything was fine. But a mother's heart always knows. Sharon had sensed something was wrong. Now she feared that whatever had been troubling him might have led to this tragedy. Scene 5. The operation. Hours passed. The doctors informed Sharon and Nick that Noah's injuries were severe. Head trauma, facial fractures, internal bleeding. They needed to operate immediately, but the surgery was risky. His survival chances are only about 20%. The surgeon said softly. Those words hit them like lightning. Sharon froze, unable to breathe. Nick looked at her helpless but determined. "We have to do this, Sharon. We can't give up now." Through tears, Sharon nodded. "Do whatever it takes. Just save my son." The waiting room felt colder than ever. Sharon sat with her head in her hands, silently praying, while Nick paced back and forth. Time crawled painfully slow. Finally, the door opened, and the doctor appeared. "The surgery was successful," he said, "but the next 24 hours are critical." Sharon's knees almost gave out from relief. She covered her mouth, tears streaming again. For the first time that night, she could breathe. Scene 6. The Unanswered Questions. While Noah lay unconscious, Nick's suspicions deepened. He remembered their last conversation, how Noah had sounded agitated, even paranoid. "Why did you drive all the way to the canyon that night?" he whispered to himself. He couldn't shake the thought that Noah had been running from someone or something. Meanwhile, Sharon replayed every memory in her mind. Noah's strange mood swings, the late-night phone calls, the nervous way he'd smiled and said, "Everything's fine, Mom." She couldn't stop wondering, what was her son hiding? When the police confirmed that the unknown car was still untraceable, both parents knew the truth wouldn't come easy. The silence in the hospital room was suffocating, filled with love, fear, and unspoken questions. Scene 7. The Moment of Truth. The next morning, Sharon sat by Noah's side, half asleep, when a nurse quietly entered. "You can see him now," she whispered. Sharon and Nick exchanged nervous glances before walking toward the room. When Sharon saw her son, she couldn't hold back the tears. His face was wrapped in white bandages, his skin pale as snow. Machines hummed softly beside the bed. She reached for his hand and whispered, "Can you hear me, Noah? It's Mom. You're safe now. You're not alone." Her tears dropped onto his hand, one by one. Nick stood silently behind her, his eyes wet. "He'll pull through, Sharon," he said softly. "He's strong, just like you." But even as he said it, his heart was heavy with doubt. Could their son ever return to the life he once had, or would he carry these scars, both seen and unseen, forever? Scene 8. Hope and Haunting. Days passed and Noah's condition slowly stabilized. The doctors said he might wake up soon, but they needed to monitor him carefully. For Sharon and Nick, every minute felt like an eternity. They sat together in silence, the memories of their broken past flickering between them. Old love, long buried beneath pain, seemed to resurface through shared grief. Sometimes they didn't need to speak. A single glance said it all. One evening, Sharon leaned over Noah's bed and whispered, "You're all I have, Noah. I won't give up. I'll be right here when you wake up." Nick stood at the doorway, his eyes filled with both pride and sorrow. Even if their relationship was beyond repair, they were united by one thing, their love for Noah. The mystery of that night still lingered, the unknown car, the unanswered questions, the feeling that someone had wanted Noah gone. But amid all that fear, one thing remained constant: hope. Because no matter how dark life becomes, a parent's love can light even the coldest night.